My next guest is going to be back in action. Unified MMA 46, September 23rd. It's right around the corner. It's going to be on UFC Fight Pass. It's Big Nasty Tom O'Connor back here on the program. Tom, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you, James. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, well, it's mandatory. It seems every fight you have, we got to do an interview. It's always great to chat with you. And another fight back at lightweight. I know you kind of bounce in between weight classes. I imagine it was just the opportunity. You felt like, hey, I'm going to fight at 155 because I know you sort of prefer fighting at featherweight, correct?
Yeah. I mean, as I keep leveling up and moving up the rankings, I'm finding I like both. I do like featherweight a lot, and just getting the science down the cut. Like it's the best I've ever felt before in the last fight. I mean, I did miss by 1.6, I think it was. But as for the cut and the science of the cut, and I mean, for those that know the background of MMA and what goes on in the backstage, like. That the cut is a difficult part and it's a real science to get it down right, but it's the best I felt. It's just I just a little bit too far out and was just miscalculated a little bit. But as for how I felt, it's the best I felt, so I'm excited to keep going back down there. But for this fight, it was just the opportunity, man. And against a hometown guy, Tim Smith from Edmonton, Unified, as he's given me more opportunities to keep fighting for a big promotion. Like, I'm just happy for the opportunities. And as long as the opponents keep leveling up and it's going to continue challenging my capabilities that's what I'm looking for.
And you mentioned it there. Tim's sort of a household name in the Alberta MMA scene. I was curious, I know Alberta's kind of small that way. Was there any sort of mutual friends that know both of you that maybe wanted to stay out of this fight or anything like that? Was there anything like that? I was just curious.
Yeah, I mean, Tim, I don't know Tim that well, but I've crossed paths with him just a couple times, in the backstage and here and there a little bit, but just a great guy, from my experience with him, really good guy. And so there hasn't been any necessarily bad blood or animosity at all. It's been all good things, I'd say, but definitely a crossover because I know he works closely with a lot of those guys at the Canadian Martial Arts Center, so he's close with them, and I'm close with a lot of those guys. I'm sure we share a lot of close friends in that regard, so training partners and stuff. Nothing really planning against them with training, but no training partners aren't willing to train with him or me. I don't think to save kind of face with one another. I don't
loyalty,
think that matters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't think there's any loyalty. I think it's just everyone training to get better. I know right now he is training out of he's training from Dunamis a little bit with John Wynn. So I imagine our team has been matched up against each other. Now this will be 2 fights in a row matched up against each other. But that's kind of nature of the beast in the MMA game, especially when you're talking more local, right? If we're talking anywhere in Alberta, we're going to be fighting same people from the same teams over and over. If it's a good team and they're putting out good athletes that are leveling up in the game, then we're going to run into each other. So I think on that note, that we've crossed paths and there's been a lot of kind of mutual friends, like you said, but no animosity or bad blood. I mean, he's a pretty inspiring guy. He's got a good story too. And also in the MMA world, he's an OG, he knows a lot of people that I'm just meeting and starting to get to know. So yeah, it's cool. The paths we're crossing right now.
Quickly, let's talk about your last fight, 3rd round submission victory. I know you don't like getting paid by the hour. How nice was that to get another stoppage win?
Yeah, it felt really good, get in, get out, get a stoppage in under the record again, and to make my double digit in the victories. So that was really nice. And against too, another really game opponent. John is a very skilled striker, and it was really good working with, for me, having Cody Jerome in my camp, who's a really elite kickboxer, and he just has that kickboxing energy, speed, and style. So going with him in my camp for John was really great. And now, of course, we're going to continue what we're doing and continue leveling up together, me and Cody. So same thing, kind of looking forward to this Tim Smith fight. But it was really good just getting in there against John and feeling an elite kickboxer energy. I could feel at that first round, his jab was very electric and had a fast kind of a fast release return to it. And so it took me a bit of timing, and you could see in the second round, I started to get my timing better, and then I could kind of create the rhythm and lead the dance a bit more. And it took a full round of that. Is you could, as I'm sure when you watched it, you could tell that first round, John was, doing really well. And I think he just prepared for my pressure wrestling style because he seemed to be countering it a bit. And so in that regards, it was good, but it was good to get the confidence behind my strikes. Is like I do Muay Thai and kickboxing, and just because I entered the whole space all at once and not kind of committed to one of the arts only. I'm the same thing as I started, I guess, late in regards to being a hybrid MMA fighter, but that's what I've known since I've started is all of it together. So the confidence in the striking definitely went up after that fight. Just feeling the rhythm, being in there, coming out for that second round and starting to land my own jab and work behind my own jab and build on it. That felt really good.
Taking on a 28 fight vet, I think if my math is correct, in Tim Smith. Just style wise, how are you looking at this one?
Yeah, I'm looking at, my whole kind of saying for this whole camp has just been 1% better every day. And so that's what I'm looking to show in this fight is, a new challenge. Tim presents his own challenges. He's very, it's not simple in the sense of basic, but simple in the sense he does the basics or not. He does the foundation work really well in his strikes. He throws 1-2 with a hard roundhouse really well. He throws either side kick really well. He's behind it. He's over his feet. So he's balanced on all his strikes, but linear. He's like really strong. So he throws everything down the pipe really strong. He's weighted in the ground. So he hits hard. And you could see that in his last fight, which was right before mine, right? Against Curtis DeMar is like apparently just the fight of the night. But rewatching that fight, you could see that he's like very grounded in his stance, throws really good hard combinations, puts all of them together well. So I'm just looking to, show another level of my striking, cut angles, same thing, keep the pressure style. Nothing changes in what I do is I'm going to be going forward, lots of pressure, trying not to back up for even a step, and so stylistically it's exciting. And then I'm sure like there's no fighters like me, that you can't train for what I'm doing. I feel like I bring a different level of that intensity and that just tsunami of pressure that I always talk about. I feel like you can't replicate that to the same way I do it, but I'm sure he's seen, he's fought fighters similar to me before. So he's not going to be surprised by anything I'm doing. He's going to be well prepared for it. And that it just excites me more is, I got to really show another level to what I'm doing. And that 1% better by the time is fight, I got to be that much better. Right. So I look forward to that stylistic matchup.
You see at the gym there, who've been some of the main training partners this camp?
Yeah, as always, all the guys at PFA, they're all working hard and getting back. Some of the kids that are younger coming back for school, so they're training. I'm training with some of them, passionate young kids, just excited to get some of their first fights, training with them lots. And then the classic Cody Jerome. There's a Rumble in the Cage fight card coming up in October here in Lethbridge. So a few of the guys from Canadian Martial Arts Center have been working with me a bit. As always, Spencer, Ovi, Tim, Tamaki, Jordan Mean. Anytime I get to work with him, that's a blessing. His range and timing is as elite as it gets. So yeah, those have been the main guys. Kate is Kate the Great. She's a Muay Thai kickboxer. Been getting lots of drilling with her. And she's another one of those like Cody Jerome, just elite level of kickboxing. And, when you watch fighters and different styles, they have their own energy to them. And you feel that when you go with Cody or you go with Kate there's a real electric kind of kickboxer energy. So I've been going with them lots. Good. And then I'm luckily enough getting to get up to see Matt Krako and the team at Dynamic MMA once a weekend. So I go wrestle with those guys, and that's been great too.
On that note, who's going to be in your corner?
My corner for this fight is going to be Brad Wall, Scott. If you know Scott Ward, he's my jiu-jitsu coach. He was in my last corner as well. And then Connor Derry, he's also coming out. He's a coach of mine as well. So those three, same at 3 as the last unified show.
We're going to see a repeat of the last fight. How's this one playing out?
Yeah, I don't like calling out predictions yet anyways, but I see same thing. It's just overwhelming them, strong. I'm going to try to be a hotter starter. Sometimes I have a slow start getting my own rhythm going, so I'm going to try and come out hot start right away. As always, I'll put the pressure on them, but I'm going to try and get a bit more of my rhythm and timing to start. So yeah, I'm hunting for the finish from the very starting bell, and I see a finish happening. I don't see this fight going to the judges. So I'm just excited to get after it and, get to put on a show and have a war with Tim Smith, Edmonton's own. Like, I want to hear that building being electric too. So it's exciting.
Not looking past September 23rd. Do you want to get one more fight in this year? Would that be ideal?
Yeah, barring I'm healthy and everything's good. That's how I feel. Is in the past few years, injuries, COVID, all these things kind of sidelining not just me, lots of fighters in general, lots of athletes, but the injuries for me sidelining me a couple of times. So I'm healthy, I'm hungry. I just want to get after it. So if I can get another one in December, hopefully there's a December card that I can get on, barring that everything goes really good in the September 23rd card, which I plan to. So yeah, hopefully another fight before the end of the year, and then go to town on 2023 too. Fill it up.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a big next year as well, I should say. Okay, we got to talk a little hockey before we get out of here. Your thoughts on in the off season? The Flames, man, what a that's the craziest off season I've ever seen for one team with Tkachuk leaving and Gaudreau, and then you replace it with Huberdeau and Kadri. Just your thoughts on the off season?
Yeah, for Calgary, that's got to be exciting. You know what I mean? You got Kadri just won a cup again, so he's got another one under his belt. Unreal season for him, and so you got to be excited to have someone like that just bringing that energy to the team. And then Huberdeau, he's he's an elite player. He's one of the top tier players, and the big thing, the playmaker, his playmaking ability, and I think he'll bring a cool leadership role to the Flames as well, and just stepping into that. But also, what about Detroit? Hey, I don't want to say who won the off season, but I'm looking at Detroit in the next couple of years, maybe putting some pace on some teams.
Well, this was the one season where they finally opened up their checkbook and said whatever. Although I do think they overpaid a little bit for Sherratt, but hey, I guess that's the premium price for defensemen, right? So
and too, like you said, having that vet, you know what I mean, having a bit of a vet there to help lead some of these younger guys like Sider and those guys, and the Raymond and stuff is a few of them. I think we're good moves getting them, but yeah, we paid a little bit. But I mean, if there's someone that knows how to do that, it's Yzerman.
Steve Yzerman, right? Yeah, exactly.
So can't go wrong there. So I'm excited.
Sorry to interrupt. Did you watch the Unrivaled series on ESPN, the one that did the documentary about the Avalanche and the Red Wings from the 90s?
Yes. How good was it?
I know. Probably one of the best documentaries I've ever seen.
I've seen lots of different documentaries and docuseries on that. So I already knew a lot of the information. But yeah, that one was unreal. It was really good. Yeah. What a cool that's one thing we all love about sports, and that's what gets us into sports, is sometimes that way that the emotions can be behind it and how it can draw you into like being a human, and that documentary really showcases how these rival teams during hate each other, but then after their hockey careers, they're sitting and doing these interviews together. You know what I mean? They're just same thing. Ex-hockey players just kind of talking about their past. It's cool to see them come back together afterwards, right? With McCarthy,
I know, all these years later. Kind of making amends, which is great. And just last thing on hockey, because it just sort of remembered, I know you work with a lot of hockey players. Anyone come up in the draft this year? Anyone that we should be keeping an eye on that you had a chance to work with at all?
Well, we're Alberta and Canada is constantly pumping out really good hockey players for sure. One kid just unreal in the gym, brings just a great spark of energy to the gym. He's always working hard, is Rylan Rorsma. So keep an eye out for him. He's going to do big things for sure. And then we got, lots of guys. I can go down the list, but too, Zach Stringer, he's had an injury, but he'll be back at the midway through the season. He'll be back on the ice playing lots. So keep an eye out for him too. They're two kids that, really put in just a ton of work. So I'm excited to see what they do along with all our athletes. As I say, the fight camp is because August is such a crazy time here at the gym. First of all, hockey coming back, school coming back in September. So it's been chaos, but that has been the kind of mantra that I've been taking into my fight camp, but also telling all the athletes here is, 1% better every day, because you go through season, off season, in season, off season with hockey. It's like that mantra, use that because it's the schedule's changing. And for lots of the kids that go to school, they got hockey, they got to eat right. They got so much on their plate that it's like, sometimes things like that can be overwhelming. So, start with one foot in front of the other, 1% every day. And it really showed for me in this camp because August was so crazy. And I was like, hey, if I make sure I'm leveling up each day, then I've done my job and I feel good, feel confident going in to compete. So it's cool to see the time frame, right?
Yeah, I was going to say it's going to be cool to see the fruits of your labor here on September 23rd, live on UFC Fight Pass. It's Unified MMA 46. Tom, always appreciate the time, man. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, any sponsors, any social media you want to plug, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, I want to thank, first of all, my gym, Progressive Fighting Academy, Hard Training, Brad Wall, Trevor Hardy, all of the team at those gyms that help me out all the time. people helping me out at Dynamic MMA, people helping me out at Canadian Martial Arts Center. Of course, I want to thank them as well. Frontline Towing is a big one. And then also the last one is the Clever app. If you're doing sports, anything to do with sports, and you have kids in sports, download the Clever app. It's a app I've been working with a little bit. And Chris Versteeg, who's out of Hard Training, right? Him and his brothers and a few other players are who started it up, so that you could take good video footage of your kid or your athlete, or if you're a coach, it's an awesome app for coaching. Is you take footage, you can clip over it, you can voice over, you can draw on it, all really easily done on the app for just really good coaching app. So download the Clever app and support Tom McNasty.
There we
That's
go.
it. That's all.